G'day guys, and I finally came back with a video kind of 2 weeks after I said I'd start them. Um, I've been busy, so that's why I haven't. I've been working a lot, and on top of that, I've got some other projects I've been doing, in the meantime. This video will be on climate change denialism. Um, this is a very tough topic to discuss. A lot of people have their own views and opinions, and they come from all different walks of life. I am in the latter. I actually have done my research on the subject matter. I have talked to scientists, and I've also basically looked at my own belief systems in my past, and I see that we all have an ideology that we go by, myself included, the listener, whether it's religious, sociological, socioeconomical, or new agey. We all have an ideology. Of course, right-wing conservatism is a political ideology, and denialism and right-wing, there's a lot of denialists there, and I'll talk about that in this video. I've been approached by denialists even up to today, arguing with me about climate change actually being a hoax and not real. And while I kind of try to just listen to their viewpoints, they often quote me religious scripture and tell me that you're listening to discredited scientists. Now, 97% of the scientists are actually in agreement that climate change is happening, and a large component is man-made. Yes, there's an atmospheric environmental level of climate change that happens naturally, but our pollution, our emissions, and just the way we live life currently with all the technology that we've got is helping to drive up the CO rates in our atmosphere, and including methane. That's another dangerous one that is a greenhouse gas. So I want to talk in this video about two things. One, about denialism itself and where it comes from. And two, why, I believe in causes like Extinction Rebellion, Greenpeace and all that. While I don't believe that they often get it right, they're coming from a good place. So first, denialism. Now I want to read out a very short response on that I got in Twitter from a denialist. His name is Ian. I won't go by his last name, just Ian. He goes, listen to real scientists before trying to destroy working people's lives. He was from southeast England. I replied, I do, mate, and most scientists are together on there being climate change, actually 97% of them. So I'm not understanding who, in your opinion, who are real or fake scientists. So you better find better sources, or actually send me these sources so I can have a look at them. And I also do work as well, but I also do care for the planet more. You can't work in a planet that is lifeless, can you? His response, rubbish. You listen to a 15-year-old kid, and I take that that's Greta, for advice, and any scientist that challenges the hoax or deny the voice. Now, Greta is she comes from a good place, but she's not just somebody I would go 100% to trust in knowledge. I actually put my trust in the knowledge that I have listened to over 60 scientists. I've spoken to 5 scientists in person who are from the environmental fields, and they have given me resources and their own study findings, field findings that show climate change is real. So I said, we'll see who is right in the coming decades. You hold on to your ideology and viewpoint, point taken, point made. Let's see what shall take place. And the final response from him was, yes, I will, and please don't disrupt people's lives and block hospitals to prove your point. Maybe go back to carrying placards saying the end is nigh. You see, you can't argue with people who aren't open to looking at things from a different standpoint. It's like the same thing with Trump supporters. Practically, you can't talk to them because they believe in their God King, the God President, and if you attack Trump, you're anti-American. You know, so you just can't. There are people who have very tight viewpoints that won't buckle. So I left it at that. And I've spoken, I mean, he was one of the better ones. I've spoken to people who've called me names, carried on like little, twerps. And, you have to end up just not replying to it because they're after a reaction. They're after, an ego boost on their end, because I did ask a few of them, what are the sources? Oh, Breitbart, or Fox News, or some alternative or right-wing media, Alex Jones per se, So I don't look at those, news or whatever you want to call it, because basically that ideology is something that doesn't fit for me. There's a lot of fakeness there. There's a lot of fakeness in news in general, news services. I limit my usage of watching commercial TV, mainstream media, because there's an agenda there. There's always agenda of division, and they use that with climate change big time. I mean, look at the news report on even ABC media. They opened up with, rather than talking about climate change, how many people were arrested at the Sydney protest today. Being 7th of October, Existence Rebellion started their 2-week protests. Now, of course, protests are about an inconvenience. I mean, for people to maybe see the point, they need to be inconvenienced. They need to understand that resources on this planet are not going to always be there. We are, overpopulating the planet. We are killing animals. We aren't planting trees. We're electing populist and right-wing governments who don't give a stuff about the planet. It's all about greed and corruption. And look, there's a lot of the left wing that I feel that are the same way. The neoliberalism, capitalism, ideology that is within the left and right wing. That is why, for me, the Democrats and the Republicans, Labor and the Liberals are really the same, coin, just different sides of the same coin, dark and darker. Denialism comes from fear, but what happens is these people go into these cinemas or watch these disaster movies that have these kind of particular catchy, America will solve it all kind of things, or science is going to come and save the day. Yet when science is actually saying climate change is not like a science fiction film or a disaster futuristic film, it's going to be much worse. It's not going to be like the day after tomorrow. It's a kind of thing that, we can't listen to them now. It's fake news. That's all they come back with. See, like I said, it's fear-based. People do not want to know that, what they're doing in particular is creating disharmony on Earth, within ecosystems, within biospheric capabilities. You know, there are tipping points. We see that even in our own body. If we continue to, you know, eat unhealthy foods, drink a lot of sugary drinks, our body gets affected. Now, let's look at that on a planetary wide. You keep burning coal. You keep, opening up, exploitation. You keep emitting greenhouse gases. That too is toxins into the planetary biosphere. Even the Amazon fires. We are going to see some ramifications within the next decade of just these fires, because trees are not being replaced. The carbon sink becomes a carbon emitter. The lungs of the planet, as it's called, they're practically now in burning mode. So denialism is about denying what's going to happen. Now, another facet of this is people want to have more kids, but they're not realizing that the future of the next generations are not going to be like the booming decades of before. Every generation from now on is going to have their own particular struggles. Less jobs there because it's becoming automation. The inequality divide is increasing, and climate changes will make sure that these rich elites, as I like to call them, the 2%ers, are going to make sure that they keep the wealth within their own sides. People are becoming more ideologically driven. Those who have know that the have-nots cannot have what they have. So they will protect. I go to the eastern suburbs a lot. I go to the North Shore. And a lot of these streets have places that look like forts. Yeah, high security and all that. Okay, it protects from people, but it's not going to protect from, say, sea level rise. A lot of the eastern suburbs will be inundated if there is a 3-meter sea rise. I've seen the maps of what is going to happen if we don't do anything about things. It's going to be dire for a lot of Sydney-siders. Now, onto my second topic within this is, why are climate change skeptics most often right-wing conservatives? This is from a piece on the Australian version of the Conversation online, and it was written in 2018. It is a partisan divide. Now, I think the 2030 target that a lot of people are saying is a tipping point. I don't believe that humanity can predict precisely when the tipping point will be. I think we've been seeing disasters of the natural order happen more frequently and more stronger. We have had, for example, Hurricane Dorian, and it's devastated 2 islands in the Barbados, and there are people saying that these islands are going to be unlivable for a very long time because they were totally wiped out. There's flooding disasters, climate variations. Now, there's a difference between weather and climate. Climate is a long-term pattern. The weather is day to day. When a denier says, "Oh well, it snowed in Montana," well, yeah, of course. We're talking about long-term changes to not just the ocean heat levels, the atmospheric heat levels, but we're also talking about changes within the current system in the oceans. And we're talking about deforestation. We're talking about basically you know, the increase of the parts per in the atmosphere for carbon. That is increasing. That's not steadying. It's increasing always. So the scientific evidence for climate change is unequivocal. I believe it. 97% of actively publishing climate scientists from the fields of geology, biology, atmospheric physics, that human activities are causing global warming. Given the same evidence, why do some people become concerned about human-caused climate change whilst others deny it? In particular, why are people who remain skeptical about climate change often identified as right-wing conservatives? According to a recent poll in Canada, this was in April of 2018, 81% of Liberals and 85% of New Democrat voters believe that climate change is a fact and is mostly caused by emissions from vehicles and industrial facilities. Only 35% of those who call themselves conservative voters believe the same thing. I mean, polling in America shows a bigger divide. A lot of the GOP, basically like to deny it. I mean, there's a lot of GOP who are very religious. Now, there's some views that their God will come down and fix everything. There are other views that basically, something's going to happen that will fix it all. Okay, fine. Believe in a God coming down to save. Yet when I talk to a denialist, I say, okay. When they ask me to believe in God, which I used to do, I ask them, okay, you want me to believe in somebody that hasn't been proven in my eyes, yet you don't, and you're trying to give me the evidence from the Bible, yet I can give you evidence from so many scientific sources, yet you say that what's in the Bible is more important than what scientists say. Having been religious, I saw a lot of religious texts that was fear-based. It's asking you to believe in a God that, on one hand, is a just and caring being. On the other hand, is a downright nasty person. It's going to kill. It's going to kill people, things, willy-nilly. However, science is a predictive tool. It's shown evidence of things happening in the past and corroborates a future trend. See, there's a growing divide all over society. Centrism is gone in politics. Centrism is gone really in media. People are pushed to the limits of different tangents. And this is what will cause another world war. Is that the center is no longer there. People are so ideologically driven left or right in the belief system. And I'm sorry to say, but the New Age movement is basically within an ideological conversion. There are people who believe that there are alien starships that are going to come down and save people, take them to a different planet or something. That's another, and I used to believe all that crap too. So what skepticism, it's good to be a skeptic, don't get me wrong. But when you are a skeptic, I ask people, okay, even challenge yourself by going into different viewpoints and just seeing what is written, learning, seeing it from a different viewpoint. That's also called empathetic learning. You may see something there that may, okay, maybe this is challenging me a bit, but let me investigate this. This is what we can do as human beings. We can learn. This is the way we can come together. But there are forces out there that are stopping humans from becoming awakened full beings, where they don't see nationality, color. They see themselves as human beings. Imagine if we had that mentality, that we were part of the planet Earth, not lords of it, but part, and we would need to change our way of thinking. We would need to readapt, because the way we're going, the level of civilization we've got now, we're not going to last. We're going to destroy ourselves. If we do not change our path, no God, no alien ship, nothing will come to save us. Because if a God existed, or if and I do believe that aliens do exist, we are masters of our own destiny. If we allow ourselves to be destroyed, well, I'm sure out there, another alien species will learn from our own mistakes and say we can do things better. And we will be a race of beings that once existed, who had rational thought, yet we destroyed ourselves because of our own stupidity. We did not learn from our mistakes. All right, folks, this has been a long video, and I will be back soon with a video on, politics and how that can be improved by a direct approach to democracy. All right, take care and stay safe. If you have any comments, please share them, and I will respond. Ciao.